Hi everyone, my name is Emily and this is Queen of the Household. Today I'm going to share with you 5 things that I'm going to do differently with our second baby. And today it is raining and it is not stopping raining, so we're going to have a little background noise in the video, but hopefully it won't be too distracting. So right now we have a 3-year-old son and we are expecting a little girl in about 3 months. And so I've been thinking about, ways to prepare for my baby and what it is that I learned from the first baby that I'm going to do differently this time around. So the number one thing is we are going to wait to share her name until she is born. So we shared our son's name shortly after we figured out that we were going to name him Caleb. We found out he was a boy early on, and so we let people know what we were going to name him, and it just didn't feel special. It was kind of like, oh, okay. And some people even thought that they could maybe even change our mind and didn't really seem real enthusiastic about it. So I think it's going to be more special to just announce her name when she's born, and there's no turning back. No one can try to change our mind on the name that we choose. The second thing that I'm going to do differently is I'm going to wear maternity clothes home from the hospital. So when I packed my hospital bag, I thought, oh, I'll be fine with just a pair of elastic waist pants and an oversized t-shirt, no biggie. I'll just pop it on before I go home. And I barely squeezed into those clothes on my way home, and I was so uncomfortable in the car ride. And so I said, if I ever have another child, I am wearing my maternity clothes home. I don't care. It takes a little while for your body to get back to the way it's supposed to be. I remember looking in the mirror shortly after I had my son and thinking, I still look like I'm 6 months pregnant. And so it takes some time for your body to readjust and get back to where it was supposed to be. So no shame in wearing maternity clothes after you have the baby. The third thing that we're going to do differently is I'm going to splurge a little bit on a going home outfit for our daughter. So with my son, I thought, what's the big deal? Why do people, spend money on this fancy outfit that's just going to get pooped on or spit up on, and they're going to wear for just a few hours and then you're going to have to change them. But then I realized after I had my son that this is a big deal. You're bringing a new life into the world. When you get married, you spend a lot of money on that wedding dress because it's a one-time, hopefully, event in your life, and it marks a new beginning. And so the same thing is with this child. I'm bringing a new life into this world. This is the first time and the only time that they're coming into this world. And so I want to make a big deal of it. So I'm going to splurge a little bit on a little sister outfit for her. The fourth thing that I'm going to be doing differently is I'm going to trust my instincts more. I think this comes with just being a second-time mom, but also I learned the first time around that there's a lot of advice and a lot of opinions that people share with you when you become a mom. And I know it comes from a heart of just wanting to help and things, but a lot of that advice and those opinions got in my head, and I second-guessed myself a lot during that first year as a new mom. And it comes from complete strangers. There's one time we were out to eat with our son, and it had just started getting cold here in Florida, which means it was in the 50s. So it wasn't like cold, but it was cold for Florida. And we were going out to eat, so we had him in his car seat, and his little hood of the car seat was on him, and then we had a blanket over top of him as well, and we felt like that was protecting him enough. And so we brought him inside and we were eating, and the table behind us had some people, and they were commenting about how cute our son was, and what a sweet baby. And one of the ladies said, "No, it's really cold out there, so you better put a hat on that baby. Make sure you protect that baby and put a hat on it." And she told me that like 2 different times throughout the meal. And then as they got up to leave, she came to our table again and said, "Bye-bye" to the baby. And then she looked at me and she said, "Put a hat on that baby. It's too cold out there not to have a hat on." But hearing those ladies' comments made me think, oh, maybe I do need to put a hat on my son's head. And so I asked my husband for the keys. He's like, "Why do you need the keys?" I said, "I need to go get a hat for our son." "No, you don't." He said, "You're the mom. You know that he is fine. Don't worry about getting that hat just so that lady will be happy about you putting a hat on your baby because you're the mom, you decide. And so a lot of times I had to just remind myself, I'm the mom, I know what I'm doing, I have common sense, and I can figure things out. So that is something I'm going to be doing differently. And then the last thing that I'm going to do differently with this baby is I'm going to follow more of a routine. So I have kind of a controversial book that I picked up. I didn't realize it was controversial. The book that I got is called On Becoming Baby Wise. And a friend recommended this to me. And I will say that I think the first edition of this book is where a lot of people have the issues because it's tied to what is called fail to thrive with some babies. And there was a statement put out by the American Academy of Pediatrics, I don't know if I'm saying that right, that didn't agree with this book, or the early on edition. No, I believe that I read a later edition because what I was reading about other people's experience with the book is not what I found in this book. So so basically what I took from Baby Wise is that we are going to start following a bedtime routine and a nap time routine. So before, I didn't follow a routine with him. We didn't have a bedtime with our son. We just, whenever we were ready to put him down, we put him down. We didn't have a morning wake up time. It was just whenever he woke up, we woke up. And we didn't have a regular bath and then lights down and turn on the sound machine and sing to him. We didn't do all that. We just basically put him in his pajamas and let him, and usually I would just rock him to sleep. So that's my main takeaways, is just I'm going to follow a bedtime, a morning wake up time, and then a routine to get the baby to sleep. That's my main takeaways from this. I think the people that didn't do well with this book, they followed this really strict schedule where they only fed the baby at certain times. And this book, the edition that I read, said you feed the baby when he's hungry. You don't just wait until a certain time on your schedule. You feed them when they're hungry. And then another thing they said was these moms would let their babies cry for hours and not take care of their baby's needs. And in this book it says if your baby has cried for 15 minutes, you go in and you check on them and you make sure that they have what they need, because obviously if they're still crying after 15 minutes, then something's wrong. So I don't know. I didn't do any kind of crying out with my first son or with my firstborn. And I don't know what we're going to do with the second one. I know that's kind of controversial. So we'll just kind of see. I know that I'm going to trust my instincts. I know that I want what's best for my baby. And so we'll just go from there and see what works. But I do plan on following a routine. I know there's another book called Moms on Call, which I am looking into as well. And I think it gives more of a detailed schedule and things that you can do. So I'm going to look into that as well and see. But that is basically it, the 5 main things that I'm going to be doing differently with my second born. If you are a mother of more than one, I'd love to hear what are some things that you did differently after your firstborn. What did you learn about having a baby and just what not to do and what to do? Thanks so much for watching. Of course, if you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much. Bye.